$218 a month.
I think it was $125.
4 shillings.
Maybe $140 a week.
35 cents per week.
I think it was probably maybe like 100 and something, thereabouts. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that was a lot of money then.
What was your first paid job?
Wow. My first paid job was at the Buccaneer Beach Club in Deadman's Reef. I used to go after school. My dad, he owned a tour company, and they used to have this thing called a beach party. And so what I would do is I would get home from school, I would run to the corner, and when the buses were going past our corner on Seagrape, I would hop on, go to the beach party, and I would hang out and help the guys who worked at the beach party. And so I did it for free. I just wanted to hang out, But there was a guy who worked there at the beach club. He said to me, "Man, Neiman, you always coming down, helping out, and you're helpful and whatnot. Why don't you go inside and why don't you ask Hines, who was the owner, for a job?" And I said, "You think so?" He said, "Yeah, go ahead and do it." He said, "He's going to tell you he don't have any room for you. So just tell him you want to work for the experience. You don't have to get paid." I said, "Okay." I was like, work without pay? But I did it. And so I went in and I asked him, and he said, "You sure you want to do that?" I said, "Yeah." So I just want to, for the experience. And he allowed me to work. And after that week was done, he was paying all the guys, and he said to tell the guy to come and get me. So he said, "Come on in." He said, "You worked so well, and I know you said you didn't want to get paid, but this is for you." And he gave me an envelope, and he said, "Go over to the party and tell Kirby to give you a shirt." He said you could come and work, and so I used to bus tables at the Buccaneer Beach Club.
I was a teacher. So my first paid job I was at, I went to teachers college, and at that time, they used to pay to go to teachers. So I get kicked out of high school, but they still accept me in teachers. So I went back. I didn't do my high school, the last exam, I didn't do it. I did it, the headmaster somehow sided with me and allowed me to take my final exam after everybody. I did my final exam, I passed. So I was already accepted in teachers, but I needed to show my diplomas and stuff. So eventually the headmaster gave me my diploma.
My first paid job was after I had my son. I went to work in an office. I can't remember where it was, but I was doing some cleaning anyhow. Cleaning in the office. Yeah, that was my first paid job.
How much did you get paid?
And I think it was $125. I think it was $125. That was my first paid job.
A week or month?
No. That was like a daily job. So whenever they needed me to clean, yeah, I go in and I clean. Yeah.
Walk over $125.
Because it was a lot. It was a lot of work. It wasn't just like one little small office. It was several, like booths and stuff. So you had to clean all of them and dust them off, and then mop and sweep, and then they had a little bathroom area. You had to clean that too. So I think that was feasible back then. It could be more, but I mean,
My first paid job, I started to work at the age of 10. I became a mechanic. My younger brother was 8 years old, and we had on this island of Exuma, had about 6 vehicles. My grandfather had one, the commissioner had one, the roll down settlement had one, my grandfather, two uncles had vehicles. And so they used to bring in a mechanic from Nassau every month to service the vehicle. And that is where I learned to be a mechanic.
My first paid job was working at a lumber company in 8 Mile Rock.
My first paid job I worked at Coca-Cola binding Coke crates together.
How much money were you making?
$218 a month.
Yeah, baby, you know like driving.
That's big money.
Huh?
That's big money.
I just going to tell you, I had an apartment. I was driving that year car. And I was taking care of myself of $218 a month. I was paying the bank. I think the car only was $50-something a month. And I had a 1971 Fiat in 71.
Rolling big time.
Yeah, mate.
My first paying job was 4 shillings that I got paid for putting in a transmission in a truck.
4
along
shillings.
with my brother. 4 shillings, plenty money. 4 shillings is like $400 in those days.
Wow.
Because 4 shillings could buy all your groceries for the month, not the week, for the month.
Oh, I still get 35 cents a week. Oh, he was in shillings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was in shillings.
I was about 17, so I was making, I think, maybe $140 a week, something like that. That was, well, back then we didn't even have anything about minimum wage, so it was just what the employee wanted to pay, the employer wanted to pay. So we didn't have anything, but we didn't know nothing about minimum wage. So I made about $140 per week.
Was that a lot of money at that time?
At that time, because I wasn't making nothing, that seemed a lot to me, yes. And I didn't have any responsibility per se, so I was able to use it wisely. Yeah.
Well, then I went from one job to another. Went to City Market making $14.75 a week. Then I went on to Higgs and Johnson's law firm, making $225 a week. Then I went on to Chris Engel, making $300 and some a week. Then to the Putin Tankers, $500 and some a week. Then I went to college. Then I went to Bacardi. I was making $800 a week.
You could have buy a sack of 50-pound sack of flour for 2 pennies, and a shilling had 12 pennies. So 4 shillings was a lot of money. You would work a whole week for 10 shillings.
And you got 4 shillings for
for
one job.
a job. But the job took me more than a week now. We had to take it down, we had to get parts and then put it back in, put the transmission back in.
Who taught you about money?
Nobody taught me about money and finances. All I know is getting money from your parents. Not my parents, my daddy, again. But mommy wasn't giving no money. Now when daddy gave us money, she would come, she would stare it down. She just sit down. The minute he turned, you gotta bring this money out.
Well, life taught me about money because you receive money, and when you're receiving a lot of money, you spend it without thinking. And the lesson you would learn is when there's no job, there's a family to feed, and no money in the pocket.
Finances, that's something I had to learn. I had to learn myself. When you get your money, you had to budget it and stuff like that. And I was good at that at one point. Very good at budget, because when I go in the store, looking for anything with name sale or what the other word is, I was looking for the cheapest stuff. And then when you get children, you've got to look for all, when you're buying Kellogg's, you're buying Kelly. So I was looking for cheapest stuff, So you had to learn the budget.
Life is the best teacher in the whole world. You could go to an accountant, he'll tell you how to balance a balance sheet. He'll tell you how your bank account to run, but not until you get broke. Then you learn the lesson that, look, like the old people say, save something for a rainy day. And that rainy day coming, believe you me.
I pretty much taught myself. because I didn't come from a wealthy family. Like I said, my mom had 6 children. None of her children grew up with her. So, like I said, when I went to her to live with her, I was about 12 years old. So I went to school, and then when I was about 16, she took me out of school because my second oldest sister got pregnant, so I had to help assist with taking care of that child while the second oldest sister went back to school.
My dad, he taught me about saving, and when I was younger, I always used to see him dealing with money and stuff like that sometimes. And the way he handled money, it caused me to pay it some attention because he was not very educated.
Myself, well, I say I had to look out for a future, look out for a family. So I'll open up a bank account, be responsible, save some, spend some, have fun with some. Take out all my insurance and everything, make sure everything is in the right perspective.
But what he did with his money, it was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing what he did with his money. And so I started to pay attention. And then, I was, as you would say, frugal. For yeah, my sisters and brothers would call me cheap. I was cheap. I didn't like to spend my money, and so I like saving.
I think I was about 18 and I was on my own, and I pretty much taught myself how to manage money because by then I was on a different job, and I was working at a travel agency. And I was making about $220. And out of that $220, I had to pay rent, pay light. And I bought a little vehicle for like $1,500. So I had to try and minimize what I had. I wasn't, and still ain't, a flashy person. Like I have to have certain amount of things. I don't have to have name brand stuff. Back then I didn't need to have like Tommy this or Tommy that or Michael Kors. I just did what I could have done with the minimum that I had. And so I pretty much taught myself how to manage my finances.
What advice can you give to help the next generation with their finances?
Okay. First, Bahamas don't have no savings, man. You gotta first develop a saving plan and then develop a formula for what you're gonna do with your savings.
One advice I would give the younger generation is never spend more than you make. If you make $100 and you spend 100, you broke. If you play numbers and you win 1,000 or you win $1 million and you spend $1 million, you broke. Never ever spend all of your money. Save and at least 50% of your income. Save it. Save at least 50% of your income.
Spend wisely. Spend if you need something. Not every Tommy you need to have. Not every Michael Kors. And I think the younger folks like Nike. So these Air Jordans and so forth. If you don't have to have it, then I would say get something that is you can use for that time, as opposed to trying to spend $300. And I'll tell you, I have a friend who he's an adult, but he spends like $350 on a pair of tennis. Now, to me, that don't make no sense. But that's his money he's spending.
Now, if you have a saving plan, then you don't, you should not want no money problem. But if you don't have a saving plan and then with bad habits, and don't have no bad habits, if you have bad habits, you'll never save a dime. Yeah. And one of the bad habits with a lot of people that don't realize it, especially young men, is girls.
I would say for children who don't work, you get what is feasible to you or what your parents can afford, because half the time it be on the parents to try and get these things for the children, just to satisfy the children. It doesn't mean that the children are smart. I would award a child that is doing good. If you do good in school, I have no issue spending $200-300 on a pair of tennis for you, because I know that it's worth it. You would have achieved everything that I had required of you. You get good grades, you do your chores at home, you don't give me no smart talk or nothing. So I don't have a problem rewarding. It may not be every time that I will be able to afford that, but for the 1 or 2 times that you ask, I will try and get it.
Yeah, girls, if you have 4 women, you gotta get 4 women out. If you have 4 baby mamas, you buy 4 loaf of bread. If you have 4 children in one house, you buy 1 loaf of bread.
Okay, advice is always have a budget. Always know, well, okay, if I got $100, I know I need to put up at least $20 of that. And manage your money. Managing your money is not only because you get a salary. Managing money is knowing how to maintain yourself while you have funds. Because you have your light bills, you got all your other bills to pay. So if you don't manage your money right, there's some way you're gonna run out. So in managing, balance your budget. Know how much you're gonna spend. Even if you go out at night, you go out all night and spend with the guys and like the old people say, be sporty. Spend all your salary, and then Monday morning, going on the job, you don't have no lunch. And so balance that budget in every day.
So I would say for the younger children, you're in school, there is more to getting. Tommy, you have plenty time to get Air Jordans or what have you. If you could settle for a Tommy or a Michael Kors, which may be $100, why not get that? You only walking on it anyway. So why not get that instead of waiting until you get, because at the end of the day, when you grow up and become an adult, you're gonna have responsibilities. And so if you utilize that money or splurge that funds, what are you gonna do when you get older? And then we bring these children up. You have children of your own. Your children is gonna want to do the same thing that you do. You get them used to all of those things. I'm not saying don't have nice things. Yes, you can have nice things, but nice things also come reasonable.
Just save it all and buy all the cheapest product you can. Like my wife, Jackie. If I want Hellman's, she bring me mayo. If I want Oscar Mayer, she bring me other bacon. It cuts down the cost.
A word to the wise is sufficient.